Good morning everyone and welcome back to Driving Instructor AJ's channel. Today I'm going to go over how to deal with different type of traffic lights. We're going to go over some different scenarios. I know a lot of you have trouble with this. So I have a drawing here. So here we go. So hopefully you guys can see this drawing pretty clearly. This is what I use with my daily instructions. So let's start off with our turning lanes. So as we can see down here, we have two different type of turning lanes. Of course, on the paper, because it's white, the penciled marks here would be the white lines. So here we see we have two yellow lines. So this lane is considered a shared turning lane, meaning that traffic going both directions can get in there to make a left turn. Typically this would be like a driveway or a business place to go in there towards the middle of the block. But here towards the end of the block here, it then becomes a white line, which indicates one-way traffic. And here we have the broken lines, and then up here it becomes a solid white line. So on these, if we're making a turn up here, then we would enter this turning lane where the broken white line is. Unless there's cars backed up in here, then we can go ahead and enter the shared lane and wait so we don't back up any traffic going behind us here. Now, next scenarios, let's talk about what color the traffic light is in a given situation. So let's say we have a green light going this way. Then typically the traffic light on the other side would be green also. But on the right side and the left side, they will be red. So that being said, if we have a green light going this direction, then that means we are free to go ahead and go straight or make a right turn as long as no one's in our way crossing or nothing's in our path. So now let's get into left turns, because this is where most of the attention needs to be for your test. So we'll go through a couple of different scenarios. The easiest way to remember on a left turn what to do is, when we have the green light here, it means that we must yield right of way or wait for oncoming traffic to clear. And if we have a green arrow, that indicates that we have right of way or we can just make our turn. So let's now start out with some scenarios regarding our green light here on a left turn. So let's, first of all, when we stop at the intersection on a red light, then we would stop where the white line is over here. Now, let's say we're at the red light with that very first car here. There's no car in front at the moment. When the light changes to green, then we will move up into the intersection so that you at least have your front tires in the crosswalk area. And this is where you'll wait. And who are you waiting for? Well, cars coming down in the opposite direction, or if anyone's crossing. And once you have a gap in the traffic where it's safe enough to make the turn, then you can go ahead and proceed to make your left turn. That being said, when we turn here, if you notice, we have two lanes. In this case, we have lane A and lane B. So when we turn, we always want to turn into the closest available lane, which would be lane A in this case. And then cars turning right here should turn into lane B, but that doesn't always happen. So let's go into a couple of scenarios regarding this. So let's say that you're here in the intersection waiting to make a left turn, and there's a lot of cars coming down in the opposite direction. Maybe it's rush hour time, and you don't get a chance to turn, but while you're waiting there, the traffic light goes from yellow to red. Then what happens next? Well, since you've moved into the intersection to make this left turn and waited there, you're allowed to complete the left turn even if the light changes to red, as soon as these cars slow down enough or stop, and you can go. Keep in mind, we don't want to hang out there for too long because most accidents happen in the intersection and a lot of people forget this rule. So while we're sitting there, we want to not only monitor the traffic flow to see when we have a space that's safe enough to make the turn, but also look at the traffic light, the colors of the traffic light. The next scenario is, let's say that we are this car here and we want to make a left turn. There's a car in front of us, again with the same green light. Now, if this car moves up, should we go up behind that car into the intersection or wait behind the white line? Well, the answer would be wait behind the white line there until that car makes the turn, because only one car at a time is allowed to be in the intersection waiting to make the left turn. Now, once that car turns, if the light is still green, you can now move up into the intersection. If there's no cars coming down towards you, then you're allowed to go ahead and make that left turn. Now, next scenario is, let's say we're approaching this intersection from far down and we can clearly see that the light is green. There's no cars on any side approaching, there's no one crossing or anything like that. Then do we still need to come up here and stop, or can we just slow down and make the turn? Well, the answer is we just slow down and make the turn. And I know some of these are pretty simple and a lot of you may know this already, but for those who are just learning, we want to clarify and make sure that we're clear on all these points. So, next scenario is, let's say that this intersection here does not exist and this is maybe grass or all houses here. On a green light, we can just go ahead and make this turn. We don't have to stop here for any reason. Now that we've gone through all of those scenarios, let's now talk about the green arrow. So a lot of places have the full set, meaning the red, the yellow, and the green. Some places just have the yellow and the green, and others you may just have the green over here. And so let's talk about when we have the full set, maybe here and here. So what does it mean when the green arrow comes on? Well, traffic on all the other sides would have a red light. So this way would have a red light, this way would have a red light, this way would have a red light, and also this way would have a red light. So only the green arrow would only come on for this way and this way. And because of the traffic flow here, they don't interrupt each other, so that's perfectly fine. They don't get in each other's way. The only thing you may want to look out for is maybe a car making a right on red here if you're coming this way, or here if you're going this way. Okay, so now let's go into a scenario where we just have the green arrow here. Now typically when you stop at the intersection and the traffic light through pressure sensors detect that there's a car in the left turning lane, it typically will turn both of these on at the same time, the solid green and the turning arrow. So the scenario here is, let's say we're behind this car here, we're at a red light. Now the light changes to green, both the green arrow and the green light come on. So the cars in front of you start making their turn. But by the time you get up to where the arrow is up here, the green arrow goes off and you just are left with the solid green light. So what do you do next? Well, you can now move into the intersection and wait. But if there's no cars coming down and no one to yield right of way to, no one crossing, then you can just proceed to make your turn here. So I hope that this clears up some questions that people have about how to deal with traffic lights, specifically left turns at traffic lights. And good luck on your road tests. Again, hit the like button, leave me a comment if you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for viewing.